Okay, so can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, last time we were discussing quality, project quality management. And we were in the last process.
Sir, can you make it in presentation
I will
mode?
make it in a presentation mode. Let me select the slide where I'm going to start. Yeah, here, okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Clear? The screen is clear to you?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. We were discussing project quality management. It is a knowledge area, basically. Project quality management is a knowledge area. And we discuss most of the processes of the project quality management, because every process has inputs, tools and techniques and outputs. Now here, since this is the last process of project quality management, so the process name is control quality. So what does it mean by control quality? It means how you are going to control your quality in terms of which techniques you are using, like sampling techniques, okay, method statements, what is your inspections, what kind of tolerance you have, what kind of limits you are going to adhere here in the control quality. Now, the project management team may have a working knowledge of statistical control processes to evaluate data contained in the control quality outputs. Among other subjects, the team may find it useful to know the difference between the following pair of terms. Like, first thing is prevention, keeping errors out of the process, and inspections, keeping errors out of the hand of customers. And then there is attribute sampling. The result either confirms or does not. It means in attribute sampling, it will just say that the results conform or does not conform. And in variable sampling, the result is rated on a continuous scale that measures the degree. It means in various sampling, it will shows us the measure. It will measure the degree of conformity, that how much percent of sample is being conformed. And then there is tolerances. Tolerances means we have some tolerance to accept the results. Let's say, for example, strength of concrete. So we might have some tolerance here that, okay, if it is reached at that particular point, we will say that the results are okay, but it should have some tolerance, okay? And control limits, which define the boundaries of common variations in a statistically stable process or process performance. So this is how the control quality is defined, and the different terms are defined in terms of prevention and attribute sampling, as we discussed, and then the various variable sampling, tolerances, limits, and control limits. Here are the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs. Okay. Most of the inputs, tools, and techniques and output you will find out the same as we are discussing in each process of the knowledge area. But let us go one by one and discuss. This is a flow chart of the control quality process. Here you can see the inputs, which is project management, project documents, direct and manage project work, perform integrated change control, and then enterprise organization. And we have outputs like monitoring and control project work, perform integrated change control, validate scope, project management plan, and then the project documents. Here, now since we are discussing now the tools and techniques of the control quality. So data gathering and checklist and check sheets are the tools and techniques to control the quality, which is also known as tally sheets, or when we may call it as a checklist when gathering data. So maybe you have seen this checklist in your career, in particularly in inspections. There are some checklists before. So there is a checklist, and it has been you will see this. If there is no compliance to that checklist, it means if the checklist is not okay, the inspection will not start. So it means we are adhering, we are controlling the quality here by saying that, okay, safety measures are being taken, and then let's say, for example, boards are okay, leveling is okay, okay, height is maintained, or maybe we can say temperature is okay. Okay, so these are the checklists. So that's why these checklists will say us, like it will show us how we are controlling the quality in the site, or in any part of the industry, like let's say, for example, in manufacturing industry or in construction industry. So check sheets are used to organize facts in a manner that will facilitate the effective collection of useful data about a potential quality problem. So it will also highlight us the quality problem, where, like, if the checklist is not properly fulfilled according to the requirements, so it will show us the quality problem, and it will show us where we have to focus here. And then we have statistical sampling, which involves part of population of interest for inspection. For example, selecting 10 engineering drawings at random from a list of 75. So basically, the statistical sampling is like, if we have 10 drawings, and we are going to check only 2 of them or 3 of them, like we will check number 1, and we will check number 3 drawing, and then check number 6 drawing, and check number 9. So this is called statistical sampling. Out of 100, we will check 5, or out of 100, we will check 10 numbers to see that the quality is being achieved here or not. We will not check all the items. Out of 100 units, we are going to check, we may check 10 items. Okay. So samples are then selected and tested as defined in the quality management plan. Then we also have questionnaires and surveys. Surveys basically tell us about it. Also, gather the data from the customers, from the customer viewpoint, and the customer satisfaction when the product is being launched. Okay, so if the product is being launched, so these questionnaires, these feedbacks, these reviews will give us the data that we require. Okay, and we have this information that, okay, these are the customer requirement, and the customer is not happy with this option, and customers are requesting, they are more aligned to this part of the product. Okay, so the cost regarding defects identified in the survey may be considered external failure cost in the cost COQ model, control of quality model, and can have extensive cost implication for the organization. So the cost regarding the defects in the surveys, it means if there is some cost that is being defined in the surveys, may be considered as external failure cost, okay, in the control of quality model, and can have extensive cost simplification for the organization. Then we have also data analysis, which is also called performance analysis. Performance reviews, measures, compares, and analyzes the quality metrics defined by the planned quality management process against the actual results. So performance reviews will measure and will also compare and analyze the quality metrics defined by the PQM process against actual results. So these are also, there is an inspections also as part of the tools and techniques, as I discussed before, like examination of the work product to determine if it conforms to document standards. So we can examine the product in terms of agile to determine if it conforms to the documents, to the standard documents or not. So this will give us the information that, okay, the product is the product is adhering to the documented, that is the product is adhering to the standard documents or not. And we may also see the results of an inspection generally include measures and may be conducted at any level. Like the results of a single activity can be inspected, or the final product of the project can be inspected. Inspection may be called reviews, peer reviews, and audits or walkthroughs. So we may have, like, let's say, for example, inspections. Let's say, for example, let's talk about the construction industry. As you know, most of the students here are from this part of the industry. So we may find out that there are inspections on each activity. Okay, and after some time, like, let's say, for example, there are 3 audits in our project, which will highlight the end results. The end results are the end. What are the deliverables? What is the position of the deliverables in terms of quality? Okay, so these areas, these audits will shows us. Audit is also like an inspection. Now we can call an audit like an inspection, but it is, audit refers to, like, at some certain stage, like if we achieve 30% of project, so we may have first audit, and then if we have 60% of progress achieved to the project, then we may have second audit. So there is some boundary specific parameters that how we are going to conduct an audit. So in some application areas, these terms have narrowed, and specific meetings inspections are also carried to validate defect repair. So some application areas, there are terms that has been narrowed and specific meaning. So inspections used to, so these inspections will use to validate the defect repairs. It means in the snagging and desnagging stage. So there is, the final inspection for the desnagging items. So this will show us how much, like, the defects are being repaired in the project. And then we have testing and product evaluation. Testing is an organized and constructed investigation conducted to provide objective information about the quality of product or service under test in accordance with the product requirements. The intent of testing is to find errors, defects, bugs, or other non-conformance problems in the product or service. The type, amount, and extent of tests needed to evaluate each requirement are part of the project quality plan and depend on the nature of the project, time, budget, and other constraints. Tests can be performed throughout the project as different components of the project becomes available, and at the end of the project or the final deliverables. So early testing helps identify non-conformance problems and help reduce the cost of fixing the non-conformant components. So basically, these tests will help us identify the non-conformance problems, and it will also help us to reduce the cost of fixing. It means if we test early at the early stages, so it will help us to reduce the cost of refixing, and it also help us identifying the non-conformance problems. Tests can be performed like throughout the, it means we have to conduct the test throughout the project as different components of the project become available, and at the end of the project on the final deliverables. So the intent of testing is to find, like, errors and defects, bugs, or other non-conformance problems in the product or service or deliverable. I can say a deliverable here. Okay, so that's why these tests are necessary, which will help us. And these tests should be conducted throughout the project, not only at one particular stage. So it will show us how much we are adhering or complying to the quality requirements. And then we have testing and procedure evaluation. Like in softwares, testing include unit testing, integration testing, black box, white box, interface testing, regression testing, and alpha testing. And in construction, testing includes cement strength, concrete workability tests, non-destructive tests at construction site for testing the quality of hardened concrete structures, and soil test. In hardware development, testing may include environmental test screening, burn-in tests, and system testing, and more. So basically, we may see that how the cement strength in construction, there are These are the tests and in software industry, there is some other type of test. So these tests will show us how we are complying to the standard requirements of the project, or how much we are conforming to the quality requirements in the project. And then we have data representation, which is called as cause and effect diagram. Cause and effect diagram. What is the other name for the cause and effect diagram? Did you remember? There are two other names for cause and effect diagrams. I want to know if you know what are the other names of the cause and effect diagrams.
Fishbone.
Fishbone, yes, you are right.
Ishikawa.
Ishikawa, yes. These are the two other names which is being used for cause and effect diagrams. Very good, you know. So, you know, you should be very alert here. So you can, you know, while you are preparing for the PMP exam, so it means you are studying. So this is a good, you know, this is a good point. I was not sure that, okay, you guys will answer this. But cause and effect diagram is also called Ishikawa diagram or fishbone diagram. So these are also used to see the data representation in terms of starting from the defects. What is fishbone? And the fishbone will show us at the head of the fish, there will be a problems. There will be a problem. Okay. And from where the problem is coming, it will show us like there will be different, you know, fins, or you can say there will be different chart emerging from the fish head, lines emerging from the fish head, which shows us the problems, the reasons for this problem. And then we have control charts, which used to determine whether or not a process is stable or has predictable performance, like upper and lower specification limits and upper lower control charts. The project manager and appropriate stakeholder may use the statistically calculated control charts limit to identify the points at which corrective action will be taken to prevent unnatural performance. So basically, the project manager, the PM, and the appropriate stakeholder will use the statistically calculated control limits to identify the points at which corrective, it means at which particular point, or in which particular area of the project, the corrective action should be taken to prevent unnatural performance. And then we have like a process is considered out of control when a data point exceed a control limit. 7 consecutive plot points are above the mean and 7 consecutive plot limits are below the mean. So this is just like a process where they have defined how this process should be like. A data point exceed a data point exceeds the control limit, like a process will be considered out of control. We may say that the quality is out of control here. When a data points exceed the control limit, or if we have 7 consecutive plot points above the mean, it means we are calculating the mean. And if we have 7 consecutive plot points below the mean, so it means we are out of the quality and out of the process here. Control charts can be used to monitor various types of output variables, also used most frequently to track repetitive activities required for producing manufactured lots. Control charts may also be used to monitor cost and schedule variance, volume, and frequency of scope changes or other management results to help determine if the project management process are in control. So basically, the charts is going to help us to monitor various types of output variables, like which are used, like most of them are used frequently to track repetitive activities required, like for producing lots. Control the charts may also be used to monitor cost. It will show us how to monitor the cost here and the schedule variances, because due to quality there may be changes in the cost, and there may be changes in the schedule, even the time, and volume and frequency of scope change or other management results to help determine if the project management processes are in control. So that's why the project quality control is necessary, because it is going to affect our cost and it is going to affect our time also, time of the project. So that's why we should be complying to the quality in time, okay, and within the cost. If we are not adhering or not conforming to the quality, it means there is rework. So if there is rework, it means there is changes in the cost. So that's why I would suggest like one time work is better than second time or 3 times of work. one time of good work is better than second time of good work, because in second time of good work you are going to apply more cost here, you are going to rework here. So we should work in our projects like as a one time good work, okay, adhering to the quality, not a second time good work where you will lose your time and where you are going to spend more amount of cost to fix those issues. Okay, here this is the control. Here you can see here in this chart, which is just an example of time dimension versus inches. Okay, inches of some quality or rated item. Here you can see it has taken the mean. You see this line, straight line, this mean. So as we discussed before, if it is 7 point less or 7 point above, it means we are not adhering. Our quality is not in our control. Okay, and if the chart exceeds the limits, it means if we have like if we see like we should adhere to from 11 to 12 inches. Okay, let's say for example, to reach to the quality requirements. But if our points here are above, let's say for example above 12 or below 11, it means we are not adhering to the quality and our process is out of control here. Okay, and if we have 7 points above the 12 and 7 points below the 11, it means we are also not conforming to our quality. So this is why how we define the rule. Okay, so here a rule is defined here, but we can change this chart and we can define our rules here also. Another tools and techniques is data representations like the histograms and scatter diagrams. Okay, also meetings, we can also conduct a meeting where we change, where we can say or we can discuss the approved change request review, we can review the approved changes. And retrospective lesson learned. Retrospective means looking backwards. Okay, prospective means looking forward. So in retrospective conditions, we are basically learning. We have the lesson learned update here, like successful elements in the project phase, what could be improved, what to incorporate in the ongoing project and what in the future projects, and what to add to the OPA. These are the outputs for quality control measurements. Like the first one is a quality control measurement. Like quality control measurement are the document of control quality activity. So it means we have documents which are which not only the documents but in the site also we adhere to the quality, and due to this adherence of quality, we reach to those documents which we see that our measurements are in the control. And then we have verified deliverables as an output. Like what is verified deliverable? A goal of the control quality process is to determine the correctness of deliverables. This is sent to validate scope process. So basically, after control quality, our output will be verified deliverable. It means our deliverables are okay. Our deliverables are complying to the quality standard requirements of the project. So any change or repair items are inspected and will be either accepted or rejected before notification of the decision is provided. Rejected items may require rework. So it means if there is any rejected items, it may require rework, which is we will spend more time and again extra money to fix those problems. And the other outputs are work performance information, then change request we are going to update here, and then project management plan updates, and the project documents updates. Impacts of poor quality. What are the impacts of poor quality? If we don't adhere to the quality, it will increase our cost, because if you are doing rework, it means we are increasing our cost to the project, and then in the same way we will decrease our profit here, and it means our morale will be low. Our morale will be less, because if we are doing the rework, so we will not be in a good morale to do the work. So our morale will become low due to this, and low customer satisfaction. The client will not be happy with this. Client will have an image that the company or the contractor is not working professionally, so they are doing the reworks again and again, and they are not complying. So it means low customer satisfaction here, and then an increased risk. We may have increased risk here again. Okay, like if you are doing the work without adhering to the quality, so we are increasing our risk. And then there is rework again also, as I discussed before, and we will have a schedule delay, the time delay here due to rework. So these are the questions we are going to discuss, as I discussed before with you, that at the last session we are going to discuss all those questions. So we finished the knowledge area of the quality, and the next knowledge area is project resource management. Okay. What are the learning objectives of the project resource management? Project resource management is one of the knowledge area here. Okay. And we are going to discuss the resources here. Okay. The resources to the project and how we can control those resources, and how we can estimate those resources. So this chapter is related to the resource calculations. So what are the learning objectives of this chapter? Explain the importance of good resource management, okay, on the projects. Define resource management and understand its processes. And summarize key concepts for managing resources by understanding the theories of Abraham Maslow, Frederick Herzberg, David McClelland, and Douglas McGrath on motivations, and H.J. Tamhan and D.L. Wilmon on influencing workers, and Stephen Covey on how people and teams can become more effective. And we will discuss human resource management planning and how to be able to create a human resource plan, project organization chart, responsibility assignment matrix, and resources programs. And we will understand the importance issues related to involving the project staff acquisition, and explain the concepts of resource assignments, resource loading, and resource leveling, and how we can assist in team development with training, team building activities, and reward systems, and how we explain and apply several controls and techniques to help manage a project team, and summarize general advice on managing teams. The importance, why there is an importance of resource management, why resource management is necessary. This should be a question in our mind, why resource management is necessary. So many corporate executives have said people are our most important assets. So resources are our most important asset. Without resources, there is a failure to the organization. So a company with good resources, with the talented resources, will generate more revenue as compared to those companies whose resources are less qualified, less experienced. Okay, so that's why most corporate executives, they say people are our most important assets. People determine the success and failures of organization and projects. Project resource management. What is project resource management? Project resource management includes the process to identify, acquire, and manage the resources needed for the successful completion of the project. So it includes the processes to identify, acquire, and manage the resources needed to complete the project on time. These processes help ensure that the right resource will be available to the project managers and project team at the right time and place. It means these processes will show us that the resource will be available to the project manager or the project team at the right time and at the right place. So this is how the project or the project resource management is. This is the knowledge areas and project process group illustration of the processes in the project process group. Let me show you. Yeah. Here you can see we have 5 project management process group. initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling and causing. And then we have 10 knowledge areas, starting from project integration management, project scope management, project schedule management, project cost management, then project quality management, project resource management, and then communication management, risk management, procurement management, and stakeholder management. So if we look at project resource management, this one, project resource management, we see our processes are in planning process group, execution process group, and monitoring and controlling process group. Okay, let us go in detail and discuss one by one. Here is our view of the project resource management. These are the processes like plan resource management, estimate activity resource, acquire resource, and then develop the team, manage the team, and control the resources. So we'll start with the planning the resource management. These are the processes, 6 processes. There are 6 processes in project resource management. The first process is plan resource management. And then we are going to estimate the activity resources. And then we are going to acquire the resources and develop a project team and manage the project team. And then we are going to control the resources. Let us go in detail one by one. Why resource management? Why resource management, not HR? So this is a distinction between the skills and competencies needed for the project to manage the team resource versus physical resources. Physical resources include equipment, materials, facilities, and infrastructure. Team resources are personnel referred to human resources. Okay. Personnel may have varied skill sets, may be assigned full or part-time, and may be added or removed from the project as the project progresses. This is sometimes there is some overlap between project resource management and project stakeholder management. This section focuses on the subject of stakeholders who make up the project team. So basically the slide tells us about the distinction between the skills and competencies needed for the project manager to manage the team resources versus the physical resources. What are the physical resources? Basically, our physical resources is the infrastructure or the facilities or the equipments or the materials or the tools or the softwares or the computers. These are the physical resources. And the team resources are personal, we can say, or the human resources are those who have skills, tools and techniques, not skills, who have skills and who have tools and techniques. We can remove those personal or human resource to the project, and we can remove it or add it at any particular time in the project. So there is just an overlap between project resource management and project stakeholder management. So the section is subdivided again to who make up the project team. Okay. So now what are the key concepts here? The key concept here, the project management team consists of individuals with assigned roles and responsibilities who work collectively to achieve a shared project goal. The project manager should invest suitable effort in acquiring, managing, motivating, and empowering the project team. Yes, the project manager should invest suitable effort to acquire, to manage, and to motivate and empower the project team. Although specific roles and responsibilities for the project team members are assigned, the involvement of all team members in project planning and decision making is beneficial. Participation of team members during planning adds their expertise to the process and strengthens their communication to the project. Project manager is responsible for team formation. So a project manager is a one who should invest or who should make more effort to acquire, to manage, to motivate, to control, or to empower the project team. So there are specific roles and responsibilities for the project team members which should be assigned by the project manager. And the project manager should know the involvement of those team members in project planning and decision making if it is beneficial. So the participation of team members should be there in planning, which add their expertise to the process and strengthens their commitment to the project. It means all the team members should be should have some contribution in complying or in discussion with the project manager for the planning of these resources, okay, which will strengthen the commitment to the project. And the project manager should be a leader, okay. Project manager should be a leader. The PM should be aware of team environment, geographical locations of team members, communication among stakeholders, organization change management, internal and external politics, cultural issues and organization weakness, and other factors that may alter project performance. So the PM should know all those factors, okay, related to the cultural environment or the organization environment and the internal and external policies and communications and geographical location of the team members. As a leader, the project manager is also responsible for proactively developing team skills and competencies while retaining and improving team satisfaction and motivation. The project manager should be aware of and subscribe to professional and ethical behavior and ensure that all team members adhere to these behaviors. Okay, physical resource management is concentrated in allocating and using the physical resources like the materials, supplies needed for successful completion of the project in an efficient way. So organizations should have a data or resource demands now in the reasonable future, a resource configuration that will be required to meet those demands and supply of resources. Failure to manage and control resource efficiently is a source of risk for successful project completion. For example, failure to secure critical equipment or infrastructure on time may result in delays in the manufacturing of the final product. Yes, so if we fail to get those equipments or materials on time, we may result in delay manufacturing of the final product, or we may be delayed in delivering that project or that part of the project. Ordering low quality material may damage the quality of the product, causing a high rate of recalls or rework. It means if we order or procure low quality materials, it will result in rework or recalls. And keeping too much inventory may result in high operation costs. So if there is a lot of inventory, so there will be high operation costs and reduce the organization profit. Unacceptably low inventory level, on the other hand, may result in not satisfying customer demand. It means if we have low supply of materials, it is also not good, because if there is low supply of materials, we can't have the material on time to execute those activities. But if we have high amount of delivery of materials, it means it will generate high operational cost. So that's why it is necessary to control those areas. And what are the trends and emerging practices in nowadays? Modern resource management. What is modern resource management? Nowadays, one of the methods that is used is called resource management methods. Like, due to the scarce nature of the critical resources in some industries, several trends have become popular in the past several years. There is extensive literature about lean management, just-in-time manufacturing, Kaizen tools, total productive maintenance, theory of constraints, and other methods. A project manager should determine if the performing organization have adopted one or more resource management tools and adopt the project accordingly. And then we have nowadays emotional intelligence. The project manager should invest in personal emotional intelligence by improving inbound self-management and self-awareness, and outbound relationship management competencies. Research suggests that the project team that succeed in developing team EI, emotional intelligence, or become an emotionally competent group are more effective. Additionally, there is a reduction in staff turnover. So the project manager should invest more in personal emotional intelligence by improving inbound. For example, self-management and self-awareness, and outbound relationship management competencies. So basically, it's like emotional intelligence means self-management and self-awareness, and also the relationship management. So the project manager should discuss with the project team, or he should have should lead and by an example how to be self-managed and how to be self-aware here. So this is also nowadays used. Emotional intelligence is also used. And the third one is self-organized teams. The increase in using agile approaches is used in agile, mainly for the execution of IT projects, have given rise to the self-organization teams, where the team functions with an absence of centralized control. In projects that have organized teams, the project manager, who may not be called a project manager, roles provides the team with the environment and support needed and trusts the team to get the job done. Successful self-organized teams usually consist of generalized specialists instead of subject matter experts who continuously adapt to changing environment and embrace construction feedback. So in self-organization teams, it is used in IT industries. Since there is no project manager, so a guy who is a Scrum Master, he is well aware that okay, the team members, they are more expert and they can do the job by themselves. Okay, and they are self-organized. So they trust them. The Scrum Master, they trust them. So that's why these teams, these self-organized teams, lead to a successful completion of the product. And then we have virtual and distributed teams. The globalization of projects have promoted the need for virtual teams that work on the same project but are not co-located at the same time. The availability of communication technology such as email, audio, conference, social media, web-based meetings, and video conference has made virtual teams feasible. Managing virtual teams has unique advantages such as being able to use as special expertise on a project team when the expert is not in the same geographical area. So basically, virtual teams and distributed team means, let's say, for example, nowadays due to COVID, we are using Microsoft Team and Zoom to discuss to arrange our meetings. We are using these tools and techniques nowadays. So these virtual softwares help us if our team members are not geographically located in the same area. So let's say, for example, if we have weekly meetings, our weekly meetings are on Microsoft on Zoom. Okay, so we are not meeting in the meeting office. Okay, so to decrease the COVID situation or to decrease the pandemic, we are using these tools, these Microsoft Team software or Teams or Zoom software. So these teams, these virtual technologies are helping us to comply, to not to spread the COVID, and also this is an emerging technique nowadays. If our team members are not geographically located in the same country, okay, so we can have these meetings, we can share the documents, we can share the information. So this is also one of the emerging practices nowadays. And what are the training considerations? The training considerations are diversity. What is the diverse background of the project team? And what is the physical location of the team members and physical resources and industry specified resources? What special resources are needed in the industry? And acquisition of team members, how team members be acquired for the project. Our team resources full-time or part-time. And then there is management of team. How is team development managed for the project? Are these organization tools to manage team member developments, or will new ones need to be established? How we are going to manage our team here? Okay, and then there is life cycle approaches. What life cycle approach will be used on the project? What kind of life cycle will be used? So these are also training considerations nowadays in the industry. And then we have agile considerations. So we will just take 5-minute break. And after 5-minute break, I'm going to start with agile consideration here. Okay, just 5 minutes. Yes, I'm going to start now again. with the agile considerations. Okay. So what are the agile considerations in terms of resource management? So it maximizes the focus and collaborations such as organizing teams with generalized specialists. Collaboration is intended to boost productivity and facilitate innovate problem solving. Collaborative teams will facilitate accelerated integration of distinct work activities, improve communication, increase knowledge sharing, and provide flexibility of work assignments in addition to other advantages. Collaborative teams are often critical to the success of the project with a high degree of variability and rapid changes because there is less time for centralized tasking and decision making. HR is like less predictable than lean methods and fast supply. So basically, agile considerations focus more on collaborations because they have self-organized teams with the specialists, with the generalized specialists. Those collaboration help them to boost productivity and facilitate innovate problem solving. So these collaborative teams, they basically generate or facilitate with each other in terms of distinct work activities and improved communications, which helps increase knowledge sharing and provide flexibility of work assignment in addition to other advantages. So collaborative team members are often critical to the success of the projects because with a high degree of variability and rapid changes, and there is less time of centralized tasking and decision making. So this is how the agile consider based on their resource management because they have collaborative teams which are self-organized and they have like they have a lot of rapid changes within the less time. So they centralize tasking for centralized tasking and decision making. Project resource management. It is a subset of the project team and is responsible for the project management and leadership activities, which is initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling and closing. This group can also be referred to as a core, executive, or leadership team. For small projects like the project management responsibilities may be shared by the entire team or administered solely by the project manager. So definitions. What is the definition of role? The function assumed by or assigned to a person is called a role. And what is the definition of the authority? The right to apply resources, make decision or sign, and approvals and accepted deliverables, influence others, or responsibility. The assigned duties and works that a project team member is expected to perform in order to complete the project activities, and the competency, the skills and capacity required to complete assigned activities within the project constraints. So it's called a competency. Keys to managing people. Psychologists and management theorists have devoted much research and thought to the field of managing people at work. Importance areas related to project management include the motivation theories, influence and power, and then the effectiveness. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation causes people to participate in an activity for their own enjoyment. So if you are, if you are willing in any activity for my own enjoyment, it will be called as an intrinsic motivation. And extrinsic motivation causes people to do something for a reward or to avoid a penalty. So basically, extrinsic motivation are the type of motivation that if someone is looking for a reward or maybe he want to avoid any penalty, so he want to escape that penalty, is called extrinsic motivation. For example, some children take piano lessons for intrinsic motivation because some children, they like to play the piano. So it is intrinsic because they really enjoy it. But others take them for extrinsic motivation to get a reward or avoid punishment. So others, like if there is some music classes is an example that a student sitting in a music class may be rewarded, or maybe to avoid punishment. So he's playing. His motivation is called as an extrinsic motivation because he's forced to take these music classes, which is part of the school courses. So this is one of the examples. And then there is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow argued that human possesses unique qualities that enable them to make independent choices, thus giving them control of their destiny. Maslow developed a hierarchy of needs, which states that people behavior are guided or motivated by a sequence of needs. So Maslow basically, his research is about like how the human possesses unique qualities that enable them to make independent choices. And he also states that pupil behavior are guided by a sequence of needs. It means if there is a sequence of needs, the pupil behaviors changes with the sequence of needs. This is Maslow hierarchy of needs chart, pyramid chart, which says a satisfied need is no longer a motivator. And then we have these 5 psychological, safety, social, esteem, self actualization. So we see here like the needs are in terms of on the lower side, we see a satisfied need is no longer a motivator. So on the top side, we can see our self actualization, our esteem, our social, our safety, and our psychological needs. So let's say, for example, safety. What does the safety tell us in terms of needs? Like it will give us our economic security and also our physical safety. And then we have the esteem, the prestige to recognize by someone in terms of our professional career. And then we have self-actualization, like the challenging project opportunities for innovating and creativity. Again, this is also again a Maslow hierarchy of needs chart. You can see here from the psychological needs like air, water, food, shelter, and sleep. It's then again safety and security, and love and belonging, self-esteem. So growth, relatedness, and then existence and basic needs. Then Herzberg, motivation and hygiene factors. Herzberg wrote several famous books and articles about worker motivation. He distinguished between hygiene factors and motivating agents. What are the hygiene factors? Hygiene factors which deal with work environment issues such as pay, working conditions, boss attitude, and relationship with peers. Poor hygiene factors negative impact motivation, and good hygiene factors increase motivation and preventing dissatisfaction. And then we have motivating agents, which deals with the substance of work and satisfaction is given from the performing the functions of the job, which has the positive motivations, like which leads to achievement and self-actualization. Workers have a sense of personal growth and responsibility. So Herzberg motivation and hygiene factors are based, as we discussed here, like the hygiene factor is based on pay, working conditions, boss attitude, and relationship with peer. And the motivating agents are like the substance of work and satisfaction is basically about the satisfaction about the job or the positive motivations. Okay, so this is also called as the motivation agents. Here you can see the Herzberg motivation and hygiene factors flow chart. You can see stakeholder dissatisfied and unmotivated, and there's hygiene factors like work conditions, salary status, security, relationships, and personal life. And then we have stakeholders which are not dissatisfied but unmotivated to make improvements, And then we have stakeholders satisfied with and motivations, like the motivation factors, achievement, recognition for achievement, interest in the job, responsibility for tasks, advancement to higher level tasks, and personal growth. Hygiene factor prevent dissatisfaction while motivators lead to satisfaction. This is another chart about Herzberg motivation and hygiene factors. You can see here at the top we have motivational side, and at the lower we have the hygiene side, the complete policy like supervision, salary conditions, and security. Here, McClelland acquired needs theory is based on primary need and behavioral style. Like the achievement, what is the achievement in terms of behavioral style? These people should be given projects that are challenging but are reachable, and they like recognition and affiliation. These people work best between when cooperating with others, and then they seek approval rather than recognition. And power, people who need for power is socially oriented rather than personally oriented, are effective leaders and should be allocated to manage others. And this is McClelland acquired needs theory, which is based on specific needs are required or learned over time and shaped by life experience, including achievement. Achievers are like challenging projects with achieved goals and lots of feedback. And then affiliation, people with high affiliation desire harmonious relationship and need to feel accepted by others. So managers should try to create a cooperation work environment for them. And then there is power, people with need for power desire either personal power or institutional power. So these are just the factors that McClelland acquired theory needs, like the achievements and affiliations and powers. So these are the needs which are learned over time and shaped by life experiences. And then McGraw theory X and Y. Douglas McGraw popularized the human relationship approach to management in the 1960s. Like theory X, what is the theory X? Which assume worker dislike and avoid work, or so managers must use coercion, threats, and various control schemes to get workers to meet objectives. And then there is theory Y, which assumes individuals who consider work as a natural to play or rest and enjoy the satisfaction of esteem and self-actualization needs. And then there is theory Z in 1981 by William Ochi, is based on the Japanese approach to motivate workers, emphasizing trust, quality, collective decision-making, and cultural values. So these are all the theories related to the resource management, okay? This is theory X, where workers are inherently lazy and unmotivated, and management must be autocratic, okay? In theory Y, workers are creative and self-motivated. Management must be delegate. Okay, and in theory Z, workers are lazy and self-motivated. This is a Deming or Japanese management movement. And then Taman and Wilmon's ways to have influence on the projects, like the authority, assignment, budget, promotion, money. So they will basically Taman and Wilmon ways have what are the ways, the authority, and what are the authority requirements in the project, and the assignments and the budget. The project manager perceived ability to authorize others use of discretionary funds or rewards. So basically a reward is there in this theory for the team members. And then there's the promotions and the ability to increase the worker pays or benefit by reward or by money. Also, there is a penalty in Taman and Filmon ways, and there is work challenge, the ability to assign work that capitalize on a worker's enjoyment of doing a particular task. And then there is expertise, a project manager perceives special knowledge that others deem important. And then there is a friendship also in this theory. And then there is a referent. Ways to influence that help and hurt projects. Projects are more likely to succeed when project manager influenced with expertise and work challenge. Projects are more likely to fail when project manager rely too heavily on authority, money, and penalty. So basically, project will succeed if there is expertise and there is work challenge and the pupils are motivated. But it will fail if there is penalties and if there is authority of the project manager and if there is money. So it will fail in this manner. So basically, the expertise are necessary and the work challenge is necessary for the success of the project. And then there is power. Power is the potential ability to influence behavior, to get people or to do things they would not otherwise do. Types of power include coercive, legitimative, expert, reward, and referent. So COVI and improving effectiveness, project manager can apply COVI 7 habits to improve effectiveness on projects, like be proactive and begin with the end in mind, put first thing first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to understood, synergize and sharpen the saw. So these are COVI 7 habits to improve effectiveness on projects. This is plan resource management, which has inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs, and we are going to discuss them one by one. The project management plan, the input for this is project management plan, which is a project quality management plan, the scope baseline. The quality management plan will define the level of resources that will will be required to achieve and maintain the defined level of quality and achieve the metrics for the project. So basically, as we discuss in our project quality management knowledge area, we have quality management plan, which define the level of resources required to achieve and maintain the level of quality in the project. And then we have scope baseline, which identify and drive the type and quantity of resource that will be needed to manage. So in scope baseline, we basically estimate out the resources here. So we have this input from the project management plan into the plan resource management. And then we also have project documents, like the project schedule, required documents related to resources. Okay, and we have risk register, and also the stakeholder register is also as an input. And we have enterprise environmental factors like organizational culture, existing human resources, geographical dispersion of team members, and personal administration policies and marketplace conditions. These are all enterprise environmental factors. And then we have organization process assets like policies, role descriptions, and templates for organization charts, lesson learned, and escalation procedure for handling issues within the team and within the performing organization. So these are also an inputs to the plan resource management. And then we have the tools and techniques, which is expert judgment, and then the meetings. The expert judgment is based on the negotiation for the best resource within the organization. And then we have like the talented teams, like talented people or personal management, talented management here. Managing the sellers and logistic effort to ensure materials and suppliers are available when needed. And list the preliminary requirement for the required skills. And then we have the assess the roles required for the project on standardized role description within the organization. And then we have determined the preliminary effort level and number of resources needed to meet the project deliverables. And then determine the reporting relationship needed based on organization culture, and provide guidelines on lead time requirement for staffing based on lesson learned and market conditions. And then identify the risks in expert judgments, and then identify and recommend programs for complying with applicable government and union contracts. So basically, the expert judgment is going to give us his ideas, is going to guide us how these inputs will be executed in terms of talent management and process management. And then we have meetings in tools and techniques to decide the human resource management, the team member, which team members should be included and which team members should be excluded. So these meetings will help us to identify those resources, the correct resources. And then we have data representation, like the organization charts and positive position descriptions. Like we have a format which shows us the hierarchical metrics or text-oriented charts, which shows us who is following, like who is the PM, who is other team members in the project chart, and how the power influence diagram is there. So the objective is that the each work package has an unambiguous honor, and that all team members have a clear understanding of their roles and responsibilities. So basically, in this organization chart and position description or responsibility description, everything is being defined. Everything is being defined. So every team members knows that it is every team members have their responsibilities, and every team members knows how many people are there in the organization, in the organization chart. This is an example of roles and responsibilities definition and formats. You can see the organizational chart here in the hierarchical way, and then we have responsibility metrics, which is also called as RM, and then role description, which is roles and responsibilities and authorities. We do have also hierarchical type charts, like the traditional organization chart can be used to show positions and relationship in a graphical top-down format. Some other breakdown structures are like the work breakdown structure, organization breakdown structure, and resource breakdown structure also in the hierarchical type charts. And then we have metrics based charts, which shows us like responsibility assigned metrics is a grid that shows the project resource assigned to each work package. So this metrics, this metric based chart is going to give us the information about the resource assigned to each work package, resource against each work package. Which work package, let's say for example here, Jerry, for Jerry, activity A is assigned, okay, which is a primary responsibility. But for Erika, it is activity A is a secondary responsibility. So this matrix-based chart will identify the resources assigned to each work package or each activity, and to also illustrate the connections between work package or activities and the team members, which is also called RA, responsible, accountable, consult, and inform. RACI is an example. This is also one of the chart, which is called responsible, accountable, consult, and inform chart, where you have people here, and then there we have an activities. So we say that Anne is responsible, A is responsible, or A is accountable for to create chart, and Ben is responsible to create chart, and then Diana should be informed to create chart. So this RACI chart help us which person has what kind, which person, what kind, which person or which personnel has the assigned responsibility, if he is responsible or accountable, or he should be consulted or informed in terms of that particular work package or that particular activity. And then we have text-oriented formats, like team member responsibilities that require detailed descriptions can be specialized in text-oriented formats, usually in outline form. The documents provide information such as responsibilities, authorities, competencies, and qualifications. The documents are known by various names, including position descriptions, responsibility, and authority formats. And then we have organization theory, which provides information regarding the way in which people, team, and organization units behave. And the output here, we will reach to the resource management plan. So basically, a resource management plan is a part of the project management plan, which provide guidance on how project resources should be categorized, allocated, managed, and released. It may be divided between the team management plan and physical resource management plan according to the specified specificities of the project. So basically, we have personal or team management plan and physical resource management plan. Physical resource management plan means the equipments. So we should know in this resource management plan that at which particular time the team management should be released, and at which particular point the physical resource should be kept in parallel, or when it should be released. So this resource management plan is going to tell us how these resources are being assigned according to the timeline, and how these resources are assigned in terms of the personal or in terms of the equipments, how they are being driven or how they are being kept in parallel with each other. And then we also have like, which is the resource management plan includes, but is not limited to, it will show us the identification of resources and the acquiring resource guidance and roles and responsibilities, which will in turn shows us the project organization chart with the project team resource management and the training, how we are going to train them, we are going to develop our team, how we are going to control the resources, how we are going to recognize the plan, should be timely or it should be in public. And then we have staff release plans, which is like demobilization plan for the staff, like determining the methods and timing when the team members should be released, okay, when the benefits for the project are achieved. And it will help us, shows us also how morale is improved when smooth transitions to upcoming projects are already planned. It means if we are improving, if we are releasing our resources from project A to project B, so how the morale is improved here, okay? And a staff release plan also help us mitigate human resources that may occur during or at the end of the project. And then we have recognition and rewards to our team members, which shows us clear criteria to help them, to promote them, to reinforce them, to recognize them, or to give them a moral, like their moral will be improved in terms of rewards and recognition. And then there is a compliance in the output also. The staffing management plan can include strategies for complying with the applicable government regulations, okay, unions, contract, and other established human resource plan. And then we have safety, which is policies and procedures that project team members from safety hazards can be included in the staffing management plan as well as in the risk register. And then one of the other output is the team charter, the document that establishes the team values, agreements, and operating guidelines for the team. So basically the team charts includes like the team values, the communication guidelines, and then the decision-making criteria and conflict resolution process and meeting guidelines and team management, team agreements. And then we have updates to the assumption logs and the risk register as a project documents. The second process is estimate activity resources. So what basically is estimate activity resource? It is a process of estimating team resources and the type of quantities of materials and equipment and supplies needed to perform project work. And the key benefit of this process is it identifies the team's quantity and characteristics of resources required to complete the project. This process is performed periodically throughout the project as needed. So basically we are estimating our resources, and this task is being done throughout the project as needed. Here are the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs to the estimate activity resources, which we are going to discuss here. And this is estimate activity resource process is closely coordinated with other processes such as estimate cost. So basically it is also related or coordinated with estimate cost also. Like a construction project team will need to be familiar with the local building codes. Such knowledge is often readily available from local sellers. If the internal labor pools lacks experience with unusual or specialized construction techniques, the additional cost for a consultant may be most effective way to secure knowledge of the local building codes. So this is also one of the example here that how these local building code are necessary and how such knowledge is really available for the local sellers, from the local sellers. So our activity resources process is basically coordinated with the estimate cost also, okay, which is part of the cost management knowledge area. We have inputs to this activity resource as a resource calendars. So basically what the resource calendar tells us, resource calendar is going to tell us what kind of resource is needed at which particular time of the project. Let's say, for example, from January to May, at the start of the project, what kind of resources we need. And when these resources is going to be, how these resources is going to be allocated in terms of the calendar, okay? Which resources need at the end of the project and what kind of resources are needed at the mid of March or at the peak of the project. So basically, these resource calendars is going to show us the working days and shifts on which specific resource is available. And then we have the tools and techniques as expert judgment, okay? And then bottom-up estimation we are going to do, and then analogous estimation as we discussed, parametric estimation. And then we are going to do the data analysis, which is the alternative analysis. Like many scheduled activities have alternative methods for accomplishment. So the data analysis is going to help us do our analysis based on these are so based on their experience, like we allocate them in an Excel sheet, and we see the data, we see their experience, we see that how these resources has provided the output to the project, and we reach to some point that okay, these resources are good in terms of this kind of specialty, so we can use them in this kind of project. So this is why we need to do the data analysis. And then we have PMI's project management information system, which is the softwares or the tools. And then we can have meetings to see how these activity estimate activity resources should be aligned or should be finalized. And we have outputs like activity resource requirements, like the types and quantities of resource required for each activity in the work package. So basically, then we reach to that point that okay, the types and quantity of resources required for each activity, that this type of resources are required for that particular work package. Okay. So the resource requirement also has documentation for each activity, which include the basis of estimate for each resource, as well as the assumptions that were made in determining which type of resource are applied, their availability, and what quantities are used. And we have the basis of estimate then as an output, that okay, these are the basis of our estimate here to calculate the activity or to estimate the activity resources. And the other output, we have the resource breakdown. What is the resource breakdown? Like the hierarchical representation of the resources by the category or by the type. Okay, like the labor, materials, equipments, and supplies. And then we have project document update, like the activity list or the activity attributes or the assumption logs and the resource calendars, and the lesson learned register, which we are going to update as our project documents. Also, here you can see the estimate activity resources output as a hierarchical representation. Like you can see the materials, okay, and then the project has this type of materials in a flow chart, and then we have not a flow chart but a hierarchical chart. This is a hierarchical chart, and then we have equipments, and then we have persons. What are the roles and what are the responsibilities, and at which particular level these persons are. And then the third process we have is acquired resources. What is the meaning of acquired resources? The process of obtaining team members, how to acquire them, how to acquire those supplies, how to acquire those equipment, how to acquire those materials is covered in acquiring the resources. And what is the output of what is the benefits for this acquiring the resources? It outlines us and guides us the selection of resources and assign them to their respective activities. This process is performed periodically throughout the project. As this process is also performed periodically throughout the project as needed. And we have like although PM may not have direct control over the team selection, in some projects the project manager does not have the full control, but PM should negotiate and influence who are in the position to provide required human resource that might be needed during the project execution. And it is the PM responsibility to assign alternatives if the HR is not available. And failure to acquire resources decrease probability of success and may result in cancelling the projects. And then here we have the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs to the acquired resources, which is mostly, we will see mostly the same as we are discussing again and again in every process. The first input is the enterprise environmental factors, like the competency levels, the prior experience, the availability of those resources. And then we have project organization process assets, like the organization charts, okay, the responsibility metrics as an input to acquire project team. And then we have interpersonal and team skills, like the negotiation. Okay, we will discuss them, we will negotiate, we will do the pre-assignments, okay, how these resources are going to help us, how these suppliers or subcontractors are going to help us to acquire those resources on our project. And then we have acquisition. If we acquire these resources, how it is going to benefit, how it is going to help us to require services, how it is going to help us in requiring those services, maybe acquired from our, like it will help us when the performance organization is unable to provide the staff needed to complete a project, the required services may be acquired from outsource. Like if we may use the outsource resources, like we will outsource them. Okay, it will not like from a third party. And this can involve hiring individuals, consultant, or subcontracting work to another organization. And then we have virtual teams, okay, where we can define as a group of people with a shared goal who fulfill their roles with little or no time spent meeting face to face. So basically, we have a virtual communication based on email, social media, or web-based meetings to acquire those project team members. Or we will have some ads on our social media to acquire those resources. And then what are the advantages and disadvantages of virtual teams? Some of the advantages of virtual teams are form team of people from the same organization who live in widespread geographic areas, add a special expertise to a project team, even though the expert is not in the same geographic area, and incorporate employees who work from home offices, and form team of people who work different shifts, hours, or days. And then there is disadvantages to virtual teams, like communication planning become increasingly important in a virtual team environment, possibly for misunderstanding, feeling of isolation, difficulties in sharing knowledge. So basically, we may find out difficulty in sharing knowledge in virtual teams. Okay, and additional time maybe you need to set clear expectations, facilitate communication, protocols to resolve the conflict. So basically, it is also additional time is required to set up those IT related issues in virtual teams. And then we have multi-criteria decision analysis, like selection criteria are often based upon as part of acquiring the project team. By use of multi-criteria decision analysis tools, criteria are developed and used to rate or score potential team members. For example, availability, identify whether the team member is available to work on the project within the time period needed. Okay, and then we are going to see if these team members have the relevant experience, or have the relevant knowledge, or have the relevant attitude, or have the relevant international factors. Okay, and another one is like the output will be like the physical resource management. So we have now the outputs as a physical resource assignments, like documentation of the physical resource assignment, record the material, equipment, supplies, location, and other physical resources that will be used during the project. And then we have project team assignments, like the documentations of team assignments, records the team members and their roles and responsibilities for the project. And we have resource calendars that document the time period that each project team member is available to work on the project. And we have change request as an output, and project plan management updates, project management plan update also as an output. We will update our cost baseline and resource management plan also. And another output is a project documents update, like the lesson learned register, and then the resource breakdown structure, and then the risk register, and the stakeholder register. And then we have enterprise environmental factors update, and we have organization process assets update here. Halo effect, this is one of the also the tendency to rate team members high or low on all factors due to impression of a high or low rating. So we rate our resources here, okay, which is also called as a halo effect. Another process is called develop project team. It is a process of improving competencies, team members, interaction, and overall team environment to enhance project performance. And it results in improved teamwork, enhanced people skills and competencies, motivated employees, reduce staff turnover. So basically, develop project team members to improve their competencies, to develop them, to guide them, to mentor them, to coach them is called develop project team. And the objectives of the develop project team are like improve knowledges and improve feeling of trust and agreements, and create dynamic, cohesive, and collaborative team culture. To develop team culture, so there is a team spirit, so there is a good productivity. Okay, and there is trainings also, basically trainings and mentoring them, the team members, to share knowledge. So the project team members are developed, and they give us or shows us a good they give us a good output here. These are the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs to the develop project team. There is a flow chart again. Okay, the flow chart includes the project management plan as an input, project document also as an input, and enterprise environmental factors and organization process asset as an input. And then we have the outputs on the other side. Let us discuss one by one. This is tools and techniques here for team building activities, which vary from a 5-minute time, a 5-minute agenda item in a status review meeting to an off-site, like professionally facilitated experience design to improve interpersonal relationship. The objective of team building activities is to help individual team members work together effectively. So basically, a good environment is there. Okay, status review meeting are there to so that we can discuss and facilitate how these we can improve our interpersonal relationships. And then there is stages of team building like Tuckman model. Tuckman model tell us about the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning criteria, like informing team members meet and learn about the project, their responsibilities and roles. And storming team addresses project work, technical decisions, and the PM approach. This could be dangerous stage if the team are not cooperating and working as a team. And in norming, team members work together and adjust work habits and behaviors. And in performing, team member function as well, organization unit, and adjourning, team completes work and move on from the project. So this is Tuckman model, which help us to build team activities, team building activities. And the input again here is the resource management plan, project team assignments, and the resource calendars. Like the resource management plan help us to guide and how the project human resources should be defined, managed, controlled, and eventually released. And we have resource calendars, as we discussed, that is going to tell us how these resources are assigned based on the timeline for the project. And then there is co-location, which is also referred as a tight matrix, involves placing many or all of the project most active project team members in the same physical location to enhance their ability to perform as a team. And then we have virtual teams also to discuss them. And then we have communication technology like as share portal, video conferencing, audio conferencing, email, chat, networking, etc. to discuss them. And then we have trainings to develop our team, like to enhance their competencies, to improve their technical skills, to improve their to improve their computer skills, to improve their online skills, to mentor them and to coach them, so to motivate them. So a training is required here. And then we have some certain ground rules which establish clear expectations regarding the acceptable behavior by the project team members. Okay, so early commitment to clear guidelines, decrease misunderstanding, and increase productivity. So it means these ground rules should be there, such as code of conduct, communication, working together, or meeting etiquette allow team member to discover values that are important to one another. And all project team members share responsibility by enforcing the rules once they are established. And then there is recognition and rewards as part of the develop project team. We will reward them or recognize them to motivate them here. And then we have interpersonal and team skills like the soft skills, which is also called as behavioral competencies, that include proficiencies such as communication skills, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, negotiation, influence, team building, and group facilitation. Like the project management team can use emotional intelligence to reduce tension and increase cooperation by identifying, assessing, and controlling the sentiments of project team members. So basically, this is interpersonal and team skills where we use our soft skills. We have we have communication skills to resolve conflicts. Like let's say, for example, if there is two team members, they have some they have reached to some point that their issue is escalated. So if their issue is escalated, it means it can be resolved by interpersonal or by team skills. And we have conflict management also again, and then we have influencing also, how the conflict can be managed. And motivation, like the motivation required for providing a reason for someone to act. Team members are motivated here by empowering them to participate in decision making and encouraging them to work independently And then we have team building, which shows us the status reviews of the 5 stages agenda. And we have also imported tools and techniques as an individual and team assessment tools, like personal assessment tools, give the project manager and the project team insight into areas of strength and weakness. And various tools are available, such as additional surveys, attitudinal surveys, and specific assessment, structure reviews, ability tests, and focus groups. So basically, these individuals and team assessment tools help us to overcome the conflicts and to see our team insight into areas of strength and weakness. And then we can have meetings also to see how our project manager, how our project team can be developed. And then we reach to the outputs like team performance assessments. Okay, we assess them on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. We have some copies like from our project manager, which is going to rate them out of 1 out of 10. Okay, so their performance is evaluated on a monthly or weekly basis, like how they are helpful for the organization, how they have contributed their output to the project as an individual. And then the evaluation of a team effectiveness may include indicators such as improvements in skills that allows individuals to perform assignment more effectively, and improvement in competencies that helps the team perform better as a team, and reduce staff on turnover rate and increase team cohesiveness. So basically, the team effectiveness help us include the indicators by include those indicators as we are discussing here, like improvement in skills that allow individual to perform assignments more effectively. So it means if some of the team members skills is improved, so the assignment completion performance will be improved here, which will in turn help us to reduce the staff turnover rate here. Okay, and improvement in competencies that help the team better perform as a team. So it means if we improve their if there is an improvement in their competencies. And then we have outputs as like the change request. Then we have updates as a project plan updates, management plan updates, and then project document update as a team charter, resource calendar and project schedule, project team assignments and lesson learned. And then we have enterprise environmental factors updates, like what are the updates here, the resource availability within the organization, and then the amount of organization consumable resource used, or the organization process update, like the document required for acquiring and assigning and allocating those resources. So we also have these two updates here. The another process is manage project team. So I will take just 5-minute break here. And this is how this is the fourth process here, the how to manage our project team here. And then the last process will be controlling the project team. So after a 5-minute break, I'm going to discuss this in my session. Okay. Okay, we are going to start now again with the manage project team. Okay, so this is the fourth process of plan of project resource management knowledge area. So what is basically project? What is basically manage project team? It is the process of tracking team members' performance, providing feedback, resolving issues, and managing team changes to optimize project performance. The benefits of this process is that it influences the team behavior, manages conflict, resolve issues, and appraises team members' performance. These are the inputs, tools, and techniques for managing the project team. Here's the flow chart, which is we are going to discuss actually now. The inputs is the resource management plan. One of the input is the resource management plan, like the roles and responsibilities, the project organization, staffing management plan, and then we have project team assignments, project charter, and team performance assessments, like the project assessment, project management, and team makes ongoing formal or informal assessment of the project team performance. And then we have issue log, like issues arise in the course of managing the project team. An issue log can be used to document and monitor who is responsible for resolving specific issues by a target date. And another input is work performance reports, like the documents about the current project status compared to project forecasts. And then the performance areas that can help with project team management include results from schedule control, cost control, quality control, and scope validation. And then we have information from performance reports like related to forecast assist in determining future human resource requirements, recognition and rewards, and updates to the staffing management plan. And then we have input like organization process assets, like certificate appreciation, newsletters, websites, bonus structure, corporate apparel, and other organization prerequisites. And then we have interpersonal skills, the project manager use a combination of technical, personal, and concept skills to analyze situation and interact appropriately with team members. Example of interpersonal skills that a project manager use most often include leadership, influencing, and effective decision making. And then we have conflict management plan. Conflict management, such as conflict is inevitable in a project environment. Sources of conflict include scarce resources, scheduling priorities, and personal work styles. The team member ground rules like group norms and solid project management practices like communication, planning, and role of definition reduce the amount of conflict. And it is the difference become a negative factor. If the difference become a negative factor, project team members are initially responsible for this resolution. So it means there are conflicts, and these conflicts should be, resolved in the project. If the conflict is escalated, the project manager should help facilitate a satisfactory resolution to resolve this issue. So conflict should be addressed early and usually in private using a direct and collaborative approach. So if disruptive conflict continues, formal procedures may be used, including disciplinary action. So these, if the conflict, it continues, so a formal procedure should be taken and the formal decision should be a disciplinary action taken to resolve this conflict. And different managers may utilize different conflict resolution methods. So there are different resolution methods here. Factors that influence conflict management resolution methods include a relative importance and intensity of the conflict, time pressure for resolving the conflict, position taken by persons involved, and motivation to resolve conflict on a long-term or a short-term basis. And we have techniques here as conflict resolution techniques, which is called withdrawal and avoid. It means retreating from an actual or potential conflict situation, postponing the issue to be prepared better or to resolve. It means we postpone the issue or to be better prepared or to resolve by others. And smooth and accommodate. It means emphasize areas of agreement rather than areas of difference. So it means we emphasize on areas of agreement rather than emphasizing areas of difference. And then we have compromise and reconcile. It means search for solutions that bring some degree of satisfaction to all parties. And then we have force and direct, which is pushing one viewpoint at the expense of others, offering only win and lose solutions here. And then we have collaborative and problem solving, incorporating multiple viewpoints and insight from different perspectives require a cooperative attitude and open dialogue that typically lead to consensus and commitment. So it means we collaborate and we discuss and we reach to some point that okay, the conflict is resolved in terms of commitment or which leads to consensus. Here is like the different in problem solving, like the problem is solved, the real problem, and it is a win-win solution. And in compromising, somewhat happy medium, problem may resurface. It is not win or lose, so we just compromise the parties. And then there is withdrawing, like we say, avoiding solution, solving the problems, postpone, or we withdraw them, like it's a lose-lose condition. And then in smoothing, we emphasize agreement, not focus on the problem. So we emphasize more on the positive things here. So from lose, it will go to win-win solution, from lose to win. And in forcing, we are focusing more on win, but we reach to the losing, between we are forcing our decision here that you win and you lose here. So this is win and lose condition here. And then we have decision making, which involves the ability to negotiate and influence the organization and the project management team rather than the set of tools described in the decision making tool. Some guidelines for decision making include focus on goals to be served, following a decision making process, study the environmental factors, analyze available information, stimulate team creativity, and account for risk. And then we have emotional intelligence, like the ability to identify, assess, and manage the personal emotions of oneself and another person, as well as the collective emotions of groups of people. Like the emotional intelligence also include to reduce the tension and increase cooperation by identifying, assessing, and controlling the sentiments of the project team members. We discussed this one, emotional intelligence. Basically, it's like to reduce the tension and increase cooperation by identifying, assessing, and controlling the sentiments of project team members. So these are also used as the tools and techniques here. And another technique is influencing, like project managers often have little or no direct authority over the team members in a matrix environment. The ability to influence stakeholders on a timely basis is critical to the project success. So the skills that include ability to persuasive and clearly articulating points and positions, high levels of active and effective listening skills. So these are the project managers, in matrix environment, he does not have a lot of authority, but he can use these skills, key influencing skills, to help manage the project team. And then the project manager should have a leading role here. Like in successful projects require leaders with strong leadership skills. Leader is the ability to lead a team and inspire them to do their job well. And then for managing project management team, we also have, like, we can use the project management information system, like the softwares or the softwares or the IT related softwares to manage our project team, like some software used to manage the resources. And then in the output, we have change request updates, like staffing changes, whether by choice or by uncontrollable events, can affect the rest of the project team management plan. And then we have project management plan update, like the resource management plan and the scope baseline and the schedule baseline, and then the cost baseline. And we do also have update on the project documents, like the issue log, lesson learned, and the project team's assignments. And then we have update to enterprise environmental factors such as input to organization performance appraisals and personal skills updates. and organization process assets updates like the historical information, lesson learned, and then the templates or the organization standard process. So basically, these documents should be updated here. The project documents and enterprise environmental documents, the organization process assets document. You will see all these in most of the processes of the output areas in the resource management. These documents should be updated. And then the last process is the control resources. It means how you are controlling your sources in terms of either if it is a personal or physical resources, how you are planning them and how you are controlling them here. The benefit includes like the assigned resources are available to the project at the right time and the right way. It means it will help us that okay, if we control our resources well, it will help us that every activity will have a resource at a specific time and at a specific place. So it means this will be an outcome if we control our resources. These are the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs to the control the resources process. This is a flow chart again. What is basically control resources? Updating resource allocation require knowing that what actual resources have been used to date and what is still needed. This is done mainly by reviewing the performance and usage to update. Control resources is concerned with monitoring resource expenditures like identifying and dealing with resource shortages, surplus in a timely manner, and ensuring that resources are used and released according to the plan and project needs, and managing the actual changes as they occur. So basically, we are controlling our resources based on updating the resource allocation, okay, up to like on the specific dates. It means by reviewing the performance usage to date, I mean how much, what is their performance according to the date. So this is how we are going to control our resources. The inputs to the control resources, the agreements like any made within the context of the project are the basis for all the resources external to the organization and should define procedures when new unplanned resources are needed or when issues arise within the current resources. And we do have like in tools and techniques, we have like the data analysis, the alternative analysis or the cost benefit analysis. Alternative analysis like to select the best resolution for corrective variance in resource utilization. Okay, and in cost benefit analysis help us to improve or to determine the best corrective action in terms of cost in case of project deviation. So if there is a deviations, we should see how much is the cost deviation here in terms of our corrective action. And then we have data analysis like the performance review. Performance review is basically we measure and compare and analyze our planned resources utilization to actual resource utilization. It means how much we plan and how much is the actual, and we are going to compare them based on our review and their performance review. And cost and schedule work performance information can also be analyzed to help pinpoint issues that can influence resource utilization. And then we can also do the trend analysis here. Like as the project progresses, the project team may use trend analysis based on current performance information to determine the resources needed at upcoming stages of the project. Trend analysis examine project performance over time and can be used to determine whether performance is improving or it is deteriorating. And then we can use the problem-solving techniques also to a set of tools that helps the project manager to solve problems that arise during the control resource process. The problem can come from the inside the organization, like machinery or infrastructure, or from the outside the organization, like major supplies that has gone bankrupt or bad weather that has damaged our resources. And then it includes like identifying the problems, defining the problems, and investigating them and analyzing them and solving those problems and checking the solution, what kind of solution is best here. And we need like the interpersonal and team skills also, the negotiating and the influencing, how we can negotiate them, how we can influence them. And we also have the project management information system we can also use to control our resources. And the output is work performance information, which include the information on how the project work is progressed by comparing the resource requirement and resource allocation to resource utilization across the project activities. This comparison shows gaps in resource availability that needs to be addressed. And there is change request also update and the project plan, management plan update here, and the project documents update here. So these are the questions here to the project resource management chapter as a knowledge area. So we finish our project resource management knowledge area, okay, which is a small one of the smallest chapter in the knowledge areas. Okay, so there are 5 processes here, and we discuss each of the process, the inputs, tools, and techniques, and output. So you'll find out most of the inputs, tools, and techniques in this chapter. It is the same as per the previous project, but there is an updates related to the resources, like okay, how to manage the resources, how to control the resources, how to estimate the resources. Okay, so regarding the next chapter, project communication management plan, project communication management, we will discuss some of the slides today, but the full chapter I'm going to start in on next Friday, okay, because this is also one of the smallest chapter, again, like one of the after the resource management. This is also one of the smallest chapter, but I'm going to discuss this more in detail because I'm going to spend some time on communication management. As you know, this is most of the questions also come in the exam from the communication management. So it's also one of the most important chapter here. So what is basically project communication management? Here, you can see here, it starts from planning process group. Okay, we have to plan our communications, and then we have to manage our communications in execution process group, and then we have to monitor our communication based on monitoring and controlling process group. What are the processes here? We can see plan communication management, manage communication management, monitor communication management. Like, what is plan communication management? The process of developing an appropriate approach and plan for project communication activities based on the information need for each stakeholders or groups available or available organizational assets and the needs of the project. So basically, we plan our communications. What are the needs? What are the requirements for the project? And what are our stakeholders? And then in managed communications, we manage our communication. What are the timely and appropriate times to establish our communication and to create our communication, and what are the monitoring and the ultimate disposition of what is the requirements to share those informations, what are the information needed to be shared, and what are the information that is not needed to be shared with the stakeholders. So this comes under managing the communications. And then there is monitoring communications, the process of ensuring the information need of the project and its stakeholders are met. It means we are monitoring our communications based on like minutes of meeting. We are writing our communications here, okay, based on any progress meeting. We minute it, the kickoff meeting, the minutes of meeting, okay, the weekly minutes of meeting, the monthly minutes of meeting. We are monitoring them, okay, we are writing them, we are monitoring them. So that comes under monitoring communications. This is just an overview for the 3 processes here in the communication management knowledge area. What are the learning objectives? It will give us how the importance of good communication on the project is necessary. It will review the key concept related to communications, and it will explain the elements of planning project communication and how to create a communication management plan. And it shows us how to manage communication, including communication technologies, medias, and performance reporting. And it will discuss methods for controlling communications to ensure that information needs are met throughout the life of the project, and list various methods for improving project communication, such as running effectiveness meetings, using various technologies effectively, and using templates. And it will describe how software can enhance project communications management. And what is project communication management? Basically, it is the process that are required to ensure timely and appropriate planning, collection, creation, distribution, storage, retrieval, management, control, monitoring, and the ultimate disposition of project information. It means we are in the process of how to ensure the timely and appropriate planning, collecting and creating and distributing the project information. So project manager should spend most, if in the projects, most of the time the project manager spend on on communications. Okay. So a project manager that has a good communication skill is a successful project manager. So he's basically coordinating with the stakeholders and the internal or the external stakeholders, or the internal to the or external to the organization. And effective communications create a bridge between diverse stakeholders who may have different culture and organization backgrounds, different levels of expertise, and different perspectives and interests, which impact on how an influence upon the project execution or outcome could be. And the key concept here is the exchange of information can be through written form, spoken, formal or informal, through gesture or through media or through choice of words. Okay. And then dimensions of communication means internal, external, formal, informal, hierarchical focus, official, unofficial, and written or oral or oral. So these are the dimensions of communications. Okay, either if it is formal, informal, or if it is a hierarchical or official or unofficial, and written or in oral positions. And these are the communication skills. I'm going to discuss this slide in the next session. Okay. I don't want to be in a hurry here, like to give you more, since today we discussed the project resource management knowledge area. So I'm not going to start with this communication. I'm not going to finish this, but rather I'm going to start in the next session, because this is necessary for a successful project manager. The communication management is necessary and successful, and in any projects the communications are necessary. If it is not reported or if it is not minuted, so that's why we are going to discuss two knowledge areas in our next session, okay, which will be project communication management, and the other knowledge area is project risk management. Okay, but I want your feedback now today, because the next session on Friday I'm going to have that session at 2 p.m. from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if it is okay with you guys, so I can schedule that session from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So can you please respond to me now? Or the morning session is okay?
Okay, no problem.
No problem, boss. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is okay.
2 to 5 p.m.
Okay, no problem.
So it will be, we will be fresh here. We will have a good sleep. So we can discuss these two chapters, with a good energy.
Yeah, okay, noted. It's better.
Okay. So next session will be on Friday, 2 to 5 p.m. Okay.
Okay.
So be ready and put this in your schedule or in your calendar. So we will have a PMP class, a class of PMP for project communication management and for project risk management. These are small chapters here, small knowledge areas chapters. Okay, since we are at the last stages. So we are going to discuss this next Friday, which will be 10th of September from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. And if you have some colleagues that, if you have some of your friends who didn't attend today's class, please inform them. I will also put this message in a group. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.